Hey guys, welcome to my guide video for the magicka Nightblade bomber for ESO Battlegrounds. As always, in the description of this video, you'll find a written build in addition to timestamps, so please check that out below. This bomber build can be used for any game mode of Battlegrounds, but it is optimized for the larger 8 vs 8 matches. The damage output on this build is absolutely crazy, like I can't even believe the burst sometimes.
Get wrecked, bitch!
And I can easily get 20, 30, and sometimes over 40 kills a match. With that being said, it is a high risk, high reward type of PvP.
Fuck this shit!
So it can be very squishy and unforgiving for some people.
And everything went fucking bad. Fuck this shit.
So do keep that in mind, but if you actually like killing people in PvP instead of just being a tanky bot, I promise you this build is extremely fun and worth checking out. The gear includes Vicious Death, Rushing Agony, Balorgh, and the Master's Battle Axe. The weights are all light, with one medium piece that you're going to put on the helmet for the extra armor stat. All divine, all max magicka enchants. Front bar weapon is the perfected two-handed Master's Battle Axe. You can still run the non-perfected version or any two-handed weapon from Dragonstar, but this is best in slot. The jewelry is all infused, you do not need any bloodthirsty with this build, and on the back bar I recommend the traumatic poisons for ultimate regeneration. And of course, don't forget to equip the beautiful Cujo Kills Guild Tabard. It's an extra 69% damage buff.
My back, just like that.
This build is similar to my Dark Convergence build, but Rushing Agony has a lot of perks that make it the better choice for Battlegrounds. For example, Rush has a small 8-second cooldown, meaning you can proc it more often. There is no telegraph, so most players won't know when to block it. Also, Rushing Agony does not apply CC immunity, so typically anytime you are stunned by a CC, there is a small window afterwards where you can't be CC'd again, where you're immune. However, Rushing Agony doesn't apply this window, so you can pull someone with Rush, and that person can be immediately CC'd again by something like Streak or Fear.
See, now that's some bullshit.
So this is definitely controversial, but it is what it is, and it's what makes Rushing Agony great for group play, especially in Battlegrounds. Here are all the skills, including what they are and what they do. If you're looking for a more thorough discussion of these or an explanation of rotation, please go see my in-depth guide that I've linked. Sometimes I will swap out Healing Soul for Healthy Offering, even though it's not as good. It ensures that the heals always go to me and not other people. Otherwise, the only other change to the skills is that on the back bar, I'm using Lotus Fan to pull and proc Rushing Agony. Everything else is the same.
Kuja, why are you not using the new banner skill to do more damage?
I can hear you in the comments already. The new banner skill is a popular skill for bombers currently, but personally, I do not think it works very well in Battlegrounds. Without champion points, one of the biggest issues in BGs is just lack of sustain. So the 33% hit to your resource regeneration just makes it a little rough in my opinion. There is a lot of incoming damage pressure in BGs, and for the average player who might overcast skills or might struggle to defend themselves, I just kind of find it hard to recommend. You can definitely use it though and even compensate with a recovery glyph on your jewelry if you want. It's totally up to you, but the build without banner has very high damage, as you'll see in the stat sheet that I'm about to show. For the attributes, slot 64 points into magicka. The race is the only race and the master race, the Khajiit.
You don't understand, cause it's a cat thing. I'm the cat king, baby, I'm the cat king. That's why you see me doing big cat things.
For your food, you have two options. If you want the most damage with a little less sustain, use Bewitched Sugar Skulls. If you want a little less damage but more sustain, use Smoke Bear Haunch or Jewels of Misrule if you're poor. Mundus Stone is the Shadow, and Vampire Stage 3 for the weapon damage passive that you get when you come out of stealth. Here are your buff stats, meaning after a 500 ultimate bomb with no champion points. This is the Sugar Skull stat sheet, so you'll see bigger resource pools but less recovery, and this is with the Smoked Bear Haunch. Nearly 23,000 penetration, and after you add your weapon damage enchant, you'll reach above 6,700 weapon damage. So these numbers are pretty strong, but once you add the power sigil on top of it, the damage is literally crazy. Can you use this build for CYRODIIL? You sure can, and I would tweak it a little bit, but I'll put that information, including champion points, in the description of this video. In the meantime, here is a clip of me using it in CYRODIIL. I actually think this was my first day ever using it. It's crazy. Oh shit! It's pretty easy to blindly put this build on and struggle a little bit, or maybe just outright suck with it, so I do have a few tips to manage these issues and help you improve your experience overall. If you struggle with rotation, just realize that you don't need a perfect bombing rotation with this setup, meaning you don't have to have everything lined up perfectly. I have managed to kill entire groups with no ultimate, no proxy det, and a proxy det timed totally wrong. Of course, you should try to avoid being sloppy like this because a good rotation is required to kill very good groups, but just focus on number 1, staying alive, and always pulling when you have an ultimate and when you see a clustered group of people. Just remember, it only takes one idiot to blow up the whole team, so you could get lucky. Do be mindful of very tanky players, however, like groups of 50k health tanks running guard and spamming resto ults, because unless you have a power sigil or a very strong group behind you, it's probably not going to happen. Next, really try to manage your resources. Don't overcast your abilities when you don't need to, heavy attack from the back of your group when needed, and don't leave cloak toggled on just draining your mag. Other than movement speed, resource management is king in Battlegrounds, so if you play smart with your resources, you will be able to keep yourself alive and escape most situations. Next, always grab the sigils. This does sound obvious, and I don't even like that they reintroduce sigils honestly, but take the sigils. There are usually 2 sigils opposite of each other in the middle of the map, and one tucked to your left and one to your right on the sides of the arena. In particular, you should be scouting for the red power sigil in the beginning of the match, because if you're sweaty and smart, you will already be entering the battleground with 500 ultimate. Lastly, try to have fun and realize that some games are just going to be better than others, and that you're just going to die. Like, you're going to die sometimes. If you have an ego that leads to a personal meltdown for you anytime you die in ESO PvP, well, actually you should probably seek help, but maybe just let it go. Personally, I don't give a fuck how many times I die because I like the fact that I'm trying something risky and I'm just having fun trying to kill as many people as I can on the internet. So anyway, that wraps up my Battleground Bomber build for ESO. I really hope you enjoyed my video and got something useful out of it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.